Welcome back to Preseason LFR, where nothing is as it seems. Where the games don't matter, the Leafs still have a guy who wears 47, and I have glasses. Because it's not a real LFR video, Leafs fan reaction video, until the regular season, and I just feel like it. I can see the viewfinder on the camera so much better. Am I in focus? I can tell better now. Preseason, still working things out, working out the kinks. I said the wrong score in the last video. But strangely enough, this game had the exact same score. Let's talk about it. Preseason LFR. No, I don't have an intro yet. The Leafs win their second game in as many nights, 4-1 over the Ottawa Senators, this time in Ottawa. They're called exhibition games, but here's what you really need to know. Wins and losses, they don't matter. Wins are nice, they make you feel much better, but they don't actually count. Maybe boost your confidence or something. For the more established guys, it's a warm-up. Freddie Anderson looked good out there. He was having a good warm-up. Austin Matthews busting out all these new tools. He looks great. That was a good warm-up. And Patrick Marleau's been warmed up since the 90s. For other guys, it's a tryout. Jeremy Bracco had a very interesting up and down kind of tryout. I enjoyed my first look at Rasmus Sandin. Good tryout. So let's look at the performances from this game. The first period, even for a preseason game, was hot garbage. I'm not sure the Leafs completed more than 5 passes. And the Sens, meanwhile, could barely do anything with it. They did actually force Freddie Anderson to make 2 or 3 good saves, that's for sure. But it didn't really feel like the Leafs were in too much danger. And when they were in danger, it didn't really feel like it was the Sens creating it. It felt like it was the Leafs doing it to themselves. Connor Carrick, who is definitely in sort of a tryout phase, didn't really wow me. He didn't have a terrible game, and I thought he got better as the game went on, but he started a little meh. Like I said last video, there are some guys, the more established NHL players, I want you to prove that you're a little bit too good for this. Another guy I was kind of disappointed with in the first period was Kasperi Kapanen. Not really doing anything bad, but he sort of reminded me of early season Mitch Marner from last year. Still has standout speed, still has standout skill, but it looked like he didn't know what to do with it. He was just kind of flying around. But like Carrick, I thought he got better as the game went on. Even the Matthews, Marleau, Ennis line didn't look that great, but they're sort of in a tough spot. Marner, Tavares, Hyman look so dominant, but they know they're going to be playing together. And I'm sure Patty and Austin like Tyler Ennis, but they're probably looking at him a little bit like, you're not Willie. And one of the Leafs besides those established vets who I thought had a good first period and a really good full game, Per Lindholm. Don't you mean Par? No. Enough Swedish people have yelled at me that it's Per. One of them called me a meatball. I don't know if they were being mean or if it was a compliment. But let's talk about the second period where the fun starts, aka the goals. A little over 4 minutes into the second, Nikita Zaitsev throws it on. Batted into the slot by Sens defender Christian Jaros, who's in a net front battle with Austin Matthews. Marleau's waiting there, pass it back to Matthews. Matthews taps it in past Craig Anderson. Yes, I think this will work very well. Thank you very much, and the Leafs are up 1-0. 1. Austin Matthews scoring on Craig Anderson in Ottawa will never get old. 2. This is what I mean by warming up. Matthews and Marleau didn't play a ton together last year. They gotta build that chemistry. Whereas Tavares and Marner seem to have it automatically. Matthews already has so much built-in chemistry with William Nylander when he signs, because it's going to happen, damn it. That line is gonna gel. And while they're building it together, I want to see them build it as a line, and I'm starting to get a little itchy. Will, can you sign the thing? Stop posting on your Instagram, Will, and sign the thing. We know you're handsome. Also getting a workout this preseason, the soundproof phone that I've installed for my neighbors and wife. Sorry, honey. Hopefully she can't hear that. And geez, that's how it is at the end of the second. Hell of a preseason game. But I will say this, halfway through the second, the Sens swapped goalies. Craig Anderson came out, Mike McKenna went in. Other than the goal Matthews scored, Craig Anderson stopped 16 out of 17 shots, which should be music to the ears of Sens fans, because boy was he not good last year. But boy were the Sens not good last year as a whole. It's not the greatest team on paper. They don't have their own first round picks, so you're gonna have to win some games, which means Craig Anderson is gonna have to pull a rabbit out of his hat on occasion. Certainly the good news is Craig Anderson has been known to pull a rabbit out of his hat on occasion. So everyone's focused on Mark Stone and his 1-year deal and what's gonna happen with Matt Duchene, but I think a lot more of this season for the Sens rides on the back of Craig Anderson. Skipping to about halfway through the third period. Both teams on a change except for Calle Rosen, who's like, I like pucks. Rosen enters the Sens zone and he's one-on-one with the defender. The Sens also have a guy coming in the slot. I think it's Jack Skilly. And there's Jeremy Bracco coming in behind Jack Skilly. And I'm guessing he did it like this, because Rosen's just standing there with the puck on his stick like, I think he's just gonna let him go. And Bracco just kind of went. Rosen to Bracco beats Mike McKenna, and that shouldn't be that easy. 2-0 Leafs. 1. Poor Jack Skilly. He's on a tryout. 2. I don't remember it being this easy to beat Mike McKenna. Calle Rosen might. You see, the Toronto Marlies just won the Calder Cup as the American Hockey League champions, but but they had to get through the Texas Stars in the final to do it. Their all-star goaltender, Mike McKenna, he was unbelievable. And one of the only players who gave him fits, one of the Marlies' best players, arguably their best defenseman in that series, was Calle Rosen. Jeremy Bracco, ironically, despite having one of the best stretch runs on the entire team, was a healthy scratch. The Marlies are good. And Bracco's got so much potential. He's got me excited. That goal is just the tip of the iceberg. He's going to have such a much bigger role on that team. And right after this goal, he takes his second penalty of the game. I mean, his stick barely came up. It did make contact. That's a call. You got to be a little bit less reckless. Although there was plenty of stuff that the refs just kind of let go in this game. In that shift, when they dumped Matthews, what was that? Sure enough, on the power play, the Leafs not nearly hard enough in the slot. Marincin's there, Zaitsev's there. Neither of them can get to Philip Schlappick in time, and he bangs it in past Calvin Pickard, who took over for Freddie Anderson. 2-1 game. I didn't mind Zaitsev in this one. I thought he'd be a little better, but he wasn't bad. He was physical. I was going to criticize him for getting suckered into that thing with Brady Tkachuk earlier in the game where they got coincidental minors, but then Tkachuk got the extra 2. Might not have had he not broken his stick, but holy smokes, he broke his stick. Marincin... Oh, I'm cheering for you, buddy. One of the things I've suggested is, hey, maybe Marincin as a penalty kill specialist. I don't mind him there. All right, bud. Okay, need more. And poor Calvin Pickard, the guy only faced 6 shots, despite the fact that the Leafs had the lead the entire time he was in net, and one of those 6 shots goes in. And it wasn't a no one either. Philip Schlappick, I've talked about how the Belleville Sens were not very good last year, but one of their brightest stars, Philip Schlappick. When I got to talk to the players last year, who do you like? They said Philip Schlappick. With the Sens pressing, I thought Mark Stone had a very impressive game. They slip up. Ben Harper, big, brutish defenseman. He's listed on the NHL website as 6'6", 222 pounds. He was banging around all game, throwing his weight around, hitting guys. And then the Leafs' third goal of the game was the new NHL in a nutshell. Giant Ben Harper standing behind his net, tries to throw a pass. Little Tyler Ennis intercepts, turns around, shoots, scores. Sorry, Ben. And this is what I mean by the warm-ups, right? Both games, just such sloppy goals from both sides. Boy, Josh Levo couldn't have loved watching this game. Yeah, I'm sure he was caught off guard because of the giveaway, but Tyler Ennis can shoot the puck. Of course, he can also just feather it into an empty net, which is what he did at the end of the game. 2-goal performance. Josh, I'm sorry! And the Leafs win 4-1. It's funny, Ennis is such an X factor, and he, well, by way of William Nylander, sort of screws everything up. Hyman, Tavares, Marner. We know they're going to play together, and they're playing together. Kadri with Brown sure seems like it's going to be a thing, and so far, they've had Levo on the other side. Per Lindholm is probably going to be the 4th line center, and he's got Andreas Janssen and Kasperi Kapanen on either side of him. That makes sense. That's what I thought they would have. And then you got this top line of Patty and Austin, who are definitely going to be together, and Ennis, who is basically a placeholder for Nylander. So, like, is he a placeholder and then he's out of the lineup, or is he a placeholder and Josh Levo is a placeholder for him? And actually, I could care less. I think both would be fine players in the Leafs lineup. But, like, the sports science and everything, the Leafs have so many back-to-backs, travel, it's the NHL, it's an 82-game season and all that. Use your spares this year, dude! Use your backup goalie. Let your 7th defenseman get in sometimes, maybe even your 8th one. Let your extra forward get in on the second half of a back-to-back. But I'm ranting a rant that needs to be ranted at a later date. The good news now is Tyler Ennis looks great. Per Lindholm, again, I thought looked great all game. I like that he was calling for that pass from Andreas Janssen on the odd man rush. Per Lindholm, of course, a member of Sweden's Olympic team from this past Olympics, while Andreas Janssen is a future member of Team Sweden. Timothy Liljegren, I still want to see more out of. He, I thought, finished the season decent with the Marlies. Rasmus Sandin, I was shocked at the amount of confidence he showed for an 18-year-old. I saw someone step up into this open ice hit with Mark Stone. I'm like, who was that? Sandin! I can't tell you if he's a real good player now, but I can tell you he's going to be a real good player. Pierre Engvall, I thought, looked nice. The one frustrating thing there, not really frustrating, it's just I want to see him play with other people. I've talked about him a lot on this channel. I'm really excited for him, but last year with the Marlies, especially during the playoffs, he was on a line where Frederick Gauthier was his center, like he was in this game, and Colin Greening was on the other wing. Greening is the shortest of all of them at 6'2". I think Engvall is 6'4" and Gauthier is 6'5". But Engvall, for all his size, I think is a skilled player, and he showed that in this game, and I'd like to see him with a more skilled center. And you know what? God love Goat. Seems like a nice guy, a friendly guy. On the ice, I wish he was a little bit less friendly. And even though it was one game, again, let's cool it, it's one game, but you look at what Goat brings, and we have a decent sample of that over years in the AHL and the NHL. And you look at the kind of player that Lindholm looks like he's going to be in the NHL, that's the direction the Leafs are heading. That's the direction the league is heading. One final note from the coach, and I'll read it in his voice. Mike Babcock is looking for more from Andreas Janssen and Kasperi Kapanen. They've got to be real important players starters for us, so I expect a lot out of those guys. They've got more to give us for sure. Yeah. Look, Babcock's been the Leafs coach for a long enough time now that we know he doesn't just give things to rookies. Not often, anyway. Janssen, for example, last year was unbelievable, undeniable in the American Hockey League. The Marlies don't win the Calder Cup without him. But there were a couple games where I'm like, where'd he go? Kapanen's already one of the fastest guys in the team, if not the fastest. He's probably one of the fastest players in the league. He's playing an exhibition where the skill set is just not there in a lot of his opponents. You expect more. And that quote from Babcock isn't even saying that they're bad or that they were bad. It's saying, I expect Andreas Janssen and Kasperi Kapanen to be demoralizingly good. Get out there and skate circles around the other team and put the puck in the back of the net until they quit at intermission like they're on the Bills. And he knows, like you and I know, we've seen those guys play. When they turn it on, yeah buddy. But tonight he just wasn't going yeah buddy, and he wants to go yeah buddy. What do you think? Leave a comment down below. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends that I'll keep my glasses on. If it means you subscribe, I just want you to subscribe and try to hit 100,000 subscribers. And also, thank you very much for watching my first preseason LFR. At the time I'm shooting this, my first preseason LFR that I posted 7 hours ago has 23,000 views. That's bananas. I can tell you want hockey back. Guess what? It's back. I come bearing good news.